Hey friends, welcome back to Powerful Stoic Habits. Have you ever found yourself standing at a crossroads, clinging to a relationship or friendship because it's comfortable, familiar, but deep down you sense it's stifling your growth? It's a tough pill to swallow. The realization that sometimes the people closest to us, the ones with whom we've shared laughter, tears, and countless memories, might not be meant to accompany us on our entire journey. Realizing this isn't just eye-opening, it's like finding a hidden door to a path. You've always been meant to walk alone, or with others who align better with your future. What if you could break free from these draining relationships and move forward, feeling stronger and unburdened? Imagine waking up each day feeling free, no longer weighed down by relationships that sap your energy. How do you achieve this freedom? How do you know when it's time to walk away from a relationship that's not helping you grow? The answer lies in understanding the clear signs that it's time to let go. Drawing on the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, figures like Marcus Aurelius and his friend Epictetus teach us about self-awareness and emotional resilience. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful idea reminds us that while we can't control what others do or feel, we can control how we react. This control is the key to our personal freedom. With this Stoic mindset, you can start to recognize the signs of unhealthy relationships, whether they're with a partner, a friend, or a colleague. Imagine being able to view a negative comment, a dismissive attitude, or a lack of support not as personal attacks, but as signs that it might be time to rethink and possibly end these relationships. You get to manage your emotional state, keeping it stable and peaceful, unaffected by the negative behaviors or neglect of others. Are you ready to take a brave step towards emotional freedom? Let's dive into these teachings together, applying Stoic principles to identify when it's time to end relationships that no longer add positively to our lives. We'll look at these signs and empower ourselves to make decisions that foster our personal growth and happiness. As we explore each sign, I encourage you to stay with us until the very end. Each sign we discuss is crucial and offers unique insights that could be the key to unlocking a more fulfilled and emotionally independent life. Missing even one could mean overlooking a vital piece of the puzzle in understanding your relationships. So, make sure you stick with us through this journey. Every moment and every sign we explore together can contribute significantly to your personal growth. By the end, you'll be equipped with the knowledge and tools to make informed decisions about your relationships, ensuring that you move forward with confidence and clarity. As we start this journey, I invite you to join in. Drop our affirmation in the comments. I am emotionally free. This powerful practice of affirming our intentions sets the foundation for the changes we want to see in our lives. By declaring our emotional freedom, we start living each day with more independence and strength. Let's embrace this path together, strengthening our resolve and stepping into the freedom we truly deserve. Before we dive into the 11 signs that will guide you in understanding when it's time to step away from a relationship, let me ask you a thought-provoking question. Have you ever stayed in a relationship long after realizing it no longer brings joy or growth into your life? Why do we often find ourselves lingering in comfort zones that are no longer comfortable? This question gets to the heart of why we sometimes choose to remain in situations that clearly aren't serving us. Often we stay because we fear the unknown, or we mistake longevity for loyalty, believing that the time we've invested obligates us to stay, regardless of the emotional toll. We might also fear loneliness or worry about not finding someone else who connects with us as deeply, even when the current relationship is clearly harmful. Now consider what will happen if, after recognizing these signs, you choose to stay. Staying in a relationship that has shown clear signs of being detrimental can lead to a continuous cycle of unhappiness and emotional drain. This often results in a diminished sense of self-worth and personal fulfillment as the relationship continues to take more than it gives. Conversely, what will happen if you decide to leave? Making the decision to step away from a relationship that no longer serves you is undoubtedly difficult, but also incredibly empowering. Leaving opens the door to healing, self-discovery, and new opportunities for happiness and fulfillment. It's a step towards a life where your emotional well-being is prioritized, allowing you to develop healthier, more supportive relationships in the future. Reflecting the gravity of this decision, Maya Angelou wisely said, "Never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option." This poignant statement highlights the importance of recognizing your own value and ensuring that your relationships reflect that value. By choosing to leave a detrimental relationship, you affirm your worth and take control of your happiness. Considering these points, it's clear that the path to personal freedom and fulfillment often involves making tough decisions about our relationships. Each sign we discuss today isn't just a red flag, it's a beacon guiding you towards healthier interactions and a more fulfilling life. So, as we go through each sign, remember that recognizing when to leave is not just about ending a relationship. It's about beginning a journey towards a better, happier you. Let's explore these signs together, equipped with the clarity and courage to make choices that lead us to the freedom and happiness we deserve. So, with this right mindset, let us deep dive into those 11 signs that tell us to take the hard path as the only solution. Each sign serves as a crucial indicator that it's time to reassess and potentially step away from a relationship that no longer contributes to our well-being. As we explore these signs, remember that recognizing them is not merely about identifying what's wrong, it's about empowering ourselves to make choices that prioritize our happiness and emotional health. Let's carefully examine these indicators and prepare ourselves to make the tough but necessary decisions that lead to a more fulfilling life. Number 1, feeling drained rather than energized. So folks, let's dive into a topic that's all too common, yet often overlooked in relationships. Feeling drained rather than energized. Have you ever ended a day with someone only to feel like all your energy has been sapped out of you? Instead of feeling uplifted, you're left exhausted and drained. This is a crucial sign that something fundamental might be off in your relationship. When your interactions with a partner or friend consistently leave you feeling depleted, it's worth asking why. Healthy relationships should energize you, filling you with excitement and positivity, not exhaustion. If being with someone is more draining than a tough workout, it's a sign that the emotional dynamics might be skewed towards the negative. How can you identify this drain? Pay attention to your feelings before and after interactions. Do you feel apprehensive about meeting them? After spending time together, do you find yourself needing a period to recover? These are telltale signs that the relationship is taking more from you than it's giving back. Another key indicator is if you find yourself constantly supporting their needs and issues, while your own go unacknowledged or unaddressed. The solution starts with a candid conversation about how you feel. Expressing your feelings can sometimes help the other person see the impact of their behavior and may prompt changes. However, if discussions lead nowhere and the pattern persists, it might be time to consider distancing yourself. This doesn't always mean ending the relationship entirely, but perhaps re-evaluating the amount of time and energy you invest in it. Walking away from a draining relationship can be incredibly challenging, especially when deep emotions are involved. Yet, sometimes it's the healthiest option. As the saying goes, don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. This wisdom reminds us that our first responsibility is to our well-being and happiness. If a relationship consistently leaves you drained, it might be a signal that the environment is too toxic for your growth and well-being. Incorporating today's affirmation, "I am emotionally free," into your mindset can empower you to make decisions that prioritize your happiness and energy. Remember, every relationship should add to your life, not leave you feeling empty. So, as we reflect on this sign, ask yourself if you feel energized or exhausted by your relationships. Let this insight guide you towards choices that support your health and emotional freedom. Remember, you deserve relationships that bring you joy and energy, helping you to flourish and not flounder. Number 2, you feel lonely, even when you're together. So folks, let's explore a feeling that might be subtle but is deeply telling about the state of your relationships. Feeling lonely even when you're together. Isn't it strange to think that you can sit right next to someone and yet feel worlds apart? This kind of loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about feeling disconnected and emotionally isolated despite physical closeness. When you're with someone, whether it's a partner, friend, or family member, and still feel lonely, it suggests a lack of emotional intimacy and connection. This can be one of the most painful forms of loneliness because it carries with it the weight of unmet expectations and unfulfilled needs. You might be sharing a space but not your lives or your hearts. How do you spot this in your relationships? It often shows up as a silence that feels heavy, not comfortable or peaceful. You might try to fill these silences with small talk or distractions, but the underlying disconnect remains. Another sign is when you find yourself hesitating to share your thoughts or feelings with them because you anticipate misunderstanding or indifference. Addressing this loneliness involves open and honest communication about your feelings. It's important to express what you need from the relationship that you're not currently receiving. Sometimes, just bringing these feelings into the open can help bridge the gap between you and the other person. However, if after these conversations nothing changes and you continue to feel alone even in their company, it might be time to reassess the relationship's value in your life. Remaining in a relationship where you consistently feel lonely can lead to deeper issues like depression and self-esteem problems. As the insightful Maya Angelou once said, "Alone by herself, she built the kingdom that she wanted." Remember, being alone and choosing a path that honors your need for true connection is often more fulfilling than staying where you feel lonely. Embrace the strength to build the relationships and the life that you truly want, not just the ones you find yourself stuck in. Today, as we delve into this sign, consider how often you feel lonely, even when you're with others. If this resonates with you, let it be a nudge towards seeking more meaningful interactions and connections. Reinforce this action with today's affirmation, "I am emotionally free," to remind yourself that you have the power to shape your environment and choose where and with whom you invest your emotional energy. Remember, you deserve relationships that fill, not drain your emotional world. So folks, that was the second sign, and I want to tell you that the next signs are even more crucial to understanding your relationships. So make sure that you stick with us till the end and don't miss anything. Let's move towards sign number 3. Number 3, you're the only one making efforts. So folks, let's talk about another critical sign that it might be time to reassess your relationships. When you find that you're the only one making efforts. Relationships, after all, are a two-way street. They require give and take from both sides to grow and thrive. But what happens when you're the only one doing the giving, constantly reaching out, planning, and striving to keep the connection alive? Feeling like you're shouldering all the responsibility in a relationship can be exhausting and disheartening. It often starts subtly. You might notice you're always the one initiating plans, or you're the primary support during tough times, or perhaps you're continually making concessions while your needs and preferences are overlooked. Recognizing this imbalance is crucial. It's about more than just tallying who made the last few calls or texts. It's feeling like you're invested in a solo journey despite being part of a duo. This ongoing one-sided effort can lead to resentment and a sense of loneliness, as it becomes clear that the reciprocity you seek and deserve is absent. Addressing this issue involves open communication about your feelings and what you perceive as imbalances in the relationship. It's important to express how the dynamic makes you feel and discuss ways it might be remedied. True, this can be a difficult conversation to have, as it challenges the status quo of your interactions. However, a relationship that can't withstand such discussions may not be as robust as it should be. If, after bringing up your concerns, you find that the effort remains largely or entirely on your shoulders, it might be time to consider the sustainability of this relationship. Continuing in a dynamic where you feel more like a caretaker than a partner can erode your well-being and self-worth over time. The poignant words of Iyanla Vanzant, "You can only give what you have, and if you are giving more than you have, it is killing you," ring especially true here. Remember, each relationship should contribute positively to your life, not leave you feeling depleted or unappreciated. As you reflect on this sign today, ask yourself if the efforts in your relationships feel balanced. If you find you're the only one pushing the boulder uphill, it might be time to pause and reassess. Utilize our affirmation, "I am emotionally free," to empower yourself to make choices that honor your worth and contributions. Choosing relationships that are mutually nurturing is not just an option. It's necessary for your emotional health and happiness. Number 4, there's more criticism than praise. So folks, let's dive into another crucial sign that may indicate it's time to reassess your relationship. When there's more criticism than praise. It's a simple concept, but it speaks volumes about the health of your relationship. Essentially, it means finding yourself in a situation where negative comments, critiques, and criticisms far outweigh any words of encouragement, support, or appreciation. Imagine every small mistake or flaw being pointed out more often than your successes or positive traits are celebrated. Over time, this imbalance can chip away at your self-esteem and make the relationship feel like a battleground rather than a supportive partnership. When criticism becomes the norm and praise the exception, it creates an environment of constant scrutiny and can lead to feelings of inadequacy and resentment. How do you spot this dynamic? It might be as straightforward as noticing how conversations go day by day. Are compliments and positive remarks rare? When you do something well, is it acknowledged, or is it more common for your faults to be highlighted? This pattern isn't just about the occasional constructive criticism, which can be healthy, but a persistent focus on what's wrong. Addressing this issue isn't just about asking for more praise, but understanding why the criticism is so prevalent. Is it coming from a place of genuine concern, or is it a habit that's tearing down the relationship? Discussing how this makes you feel can be a starting point. It's important for both partners to feel valued and respected, and part of that is expressing appreciation for each other. If you find that discussions don't lead to any change and the scale remains tipped towards criticism, it may be a signal that the relationship is not conducive to your growth and happiness. A relationship should lift you up and celebrate your strengths as much as it gently helps you improve your weaknesses. As we reflect on this, remember the wisdom in the saying, "The tongue has no bones, but is strong enough to break a heart." This illustrates the powerful impact of our words. Ensuring that our relationships are places where praise is not scarce can foster a much healthier dynamic. So, consider this sign carefully. Are you thriving with support or withering under constant criticism? Let this insight guide you in nurturing relationships where you feel appreciated and recognized. Affirm your worth with our daily mantra, "I am emotionally free," and commit to fostering relationships that respect and celebrate your contributions. Number 5, control over your choices. So folks, let's explore a red flag that's crucial to recognize in any relationship: when someone tries to take control over your choices. This isn't just about someone suggesting which restaurant to go to. It's about those times when your decisions, big or small, are constantly questioned or overridden by someone else, whether it's a partner, friend, or family member. Imagine constantly feeling like you can't make your own decisions, from what you wear, to how you spend your time, to bigger life choices like career moves or financial planning. When someone exerts control over these aspects of your life, it undermines your independence and can deeply affect your self-esteem. It's a form of manipulation that can be subtle or overt, but always harmful. How can you identify this in your relationships? It often starts with small things. Maybe your partner often dismisses your choices in daily matters, like picking a movie or choosing a meal. Gradually, this behavior can escalate to more significant decisions, where your input feels entirely disregarded or unwelcome. Another indicator is feeling guilty or anxious about making choices without the other person's approval or input. Addressing this issue is critical because everyone deserves the right to make their own choices. Open communication about how this behavior affects you is essential. It's important to set boundaries and clearly state that your decisions and choices are yours to make. Asserting yourself in these situations reinforces your right to your personal autonomy. If efforts to address the issue don't lead to a change and the controlling behavior continues, it might be a sign that the relationship is fundamentally unhealthy. Prolonged control over your choices can lead to a diminishing sense of self-worth and personal agency, trapping you in a cycle of dependency that's hard to break. Remember, as Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." This powerful reminder underscores that allowing someone else to dominate your choices gives them power over aspects of your life that should remain yours alone. As we consider this sign, reflect on whether you feel empowered to make your own choices in your relationships. Are you encouraged to be independent? Or are you made to feel that your choices need to be sanctioned by someone else? Recognizing and acting on this sign is a step towards reclaiming your autonomy and ensuring that your relationships are mutually respectful and empowering. Let's affirm together, "I am emotionally free." Embrace this mantra and strive for relationships that respect and celebrate your individuality and freedom. And with this, folks, we are halfway through the video. If you are still with us, I want to congratulate you. I see you in a position you might never have imagined, and that assures me this content is striking a chord with you. So please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop our affirmation, "I am emotionally free," in the comments below. This is a great way to announce your commitment to emotional freedom. Now, let's move towards the secrets that are even more important to notice. Number 6, you're always blamed for issues. So folks, let's tackle a really tough situation that can arise in relationships. When you find yourself always being blamed for issues, regardless of the circumstances, it's a situation where every problem, disagreement, or challenge somehow ends up being your fault, even when it clearly isn't. This pattern not only erodes trust, but can also severely impact your self-esteem and mental health. When one person consistently shifts the blame onto the other, it can create a toxic dynamic where open communication and problem-solving become impossible. Instead of tackling issues as a team, the relationship turns into a blame game with no real resolution in sight. This constant fault-finding can leave you feeling defensive and misunderstood, making it difficult to feel safe and valued within the relationship. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. It often manifests as a series of accusations or criticisms where your actions are frequently scrutinized and any attempt at explanation is dismissed. The blame might come in direct accusations or through subtle hints and passive-aggressive comments that suggest you're always the one at fault. Addressing this issue involves confronting the behavior directly. It's important to communicate how detrimental this blame shifting is to your well-being and the health of the relationship. Express the need for a more balanced approach to resolving conflicts where both parties can own their mistakes and work together towards solutions. If this approach doesn't lead to any change and you continue to be unfairly blamed, it might be time to reconsider the viability of the relationship. Persistent blame is not only unfair, but also deeply harmful, preventing any chance for growth or happiness together. As you reflect on this sign, remember that healthy relationships involve mutual respect and accountability. No one should feel like they're constantly on trial. Embrace today's affirmation, "I am emotionally free." Let this empower you to seek out and nurture relationships where responsibility is shared and everyone's dignity is upheld. Number 7, absence of trust. So folks, let's discuss a foundational element that's essential for any healthy relationship: trust. An absence of trust can significantly undermine a relationship, turning every interaction into a potential minefield of doubt and suspicion. Without trust, relationships lack the necessary security and comfort that allow love and friendship to thrive. When trust is missing, you might find yourself constantly questioning the other person's motives, actions, and words. You might feel the need to check up on them, analyze their statements for hidden meanings, or worry excessively about their commitment and fidelity. This constant vigilance is exhausting and can create an atmosphere of tension and anxiety that's far from the supportive and loving environment relationships are meant to provide. How do you know if there's an absence of trust? It often manifests as a gut feeling that you can't quite shake off, a feeling that something isn't right, even if there's no concrete evidence to prove it. You might also notice that you're reluctant to share personal thoughts or feelings because you fear they won't be treated with the respect and confidentiality they deserve. Addressing the absence of trust involves confronting the issues head-on. It's crucial to have open and honest discussions about your feelings and to listen genuinely to the other person's concerns as well. Sometimes, rebuilding trust might require professional help, such as couples therapy, where guided conversations can help uncover deeper issues and facilitate healing. If efforts to rebuild trust don't lead to improvement, it might be necessary to evaluate whether the relationship can continue. Trust is not just another component of a relationship, it is the very core of it. Without trust, the relationship struggles to provide the mutual support and joy that it should. Reflect on the role of trust in your relationships. Embrace today's affirmation, "I am emotionally free," and allow it to guide you towards relationships that are built on a solid foundation of trust and mutual respect. Remember, it's okay to step away from relationships where trust cannot be established or restored. It's a vital step towards preserving your emotional well-being and finding genuine happiness. Number 8, lack of communication. So folks, let's talk about a crucial issue that often flies under the radar until it's too late: the lack of communication in a relationship. Effective communication is the lifeline of any relationship, serving as the main pathway through which partners connect, resolve issues, and express their needs and feelings. When communication starts to break down, it can feel like you're living parallel lives under the same roof, or in a friendship that lacks depth and understanding. A lack of communication can manifest in various forms. Perhaps conversations barely skim the surface, avoiding any topics that might lead to conflict or deeper emotional exchanges. Or maybe there's an unsettling silence that's replaced the lively discussions that once marked your interactions. This breakdown doesn't necessarily mean constant fighting. It's often marked by an absence, a void where meaningful exchanges once took place. Recognizing this lack of communication is crucial because it often leads to misunderstandings and resentment. Without the opportunity to express and resolve feelings, small issues can fester into significant problems. You might find yourself guessing what the other person is thinking or feeling, which can lead to incorrect assumptions and increased tension. Addressing this lack of communication requires making a concerted effort to open up the lines of dialogue. It involves setting aside dedicated times to talk, actively listening without judgment, and expressing your thoughts and feelings openly. It's about creating a safe space where both individuals feel heard and respected. However, if attempts to revive communication continually fall flat, and you find yourself returning to silence or superficial exchanges, it might be time to consider the broader implications for your relationship. Persistent communication gaps can signal that both parties are no longer invested in nurturing the relationship. As you reflect on this sign, remember our affirmation, "I am emotionally free." Embrace it as you assess the communication dynamics in your relationships. Ensure you're in environments where your voice is heard and valued. Healthy communication is not just about making conversation. It's about connecting authentically and building a relationship that's fulfilling and true to each person's needs and aspirations. Number 9, repeated betrayals. So folks, let's tackle a deeply painful issue that can fundamentally shake any relationship: repeated betrayals. Betrayal, whether through dishonesty, infidelity, or breaking promises, can deeply wound the trust that forms the bedrock of any strong relationship. When these betrayals happen not just once but repeatedly, they create a pattern of behavior that is toxic and often irreparable. Repeated betrayals leave you questioning not only the sincerity of the relationship, but also your own judgment. It can feel like a cycle of hurt where each instance chips away at your trust and self-esteem. The question isn't just about why the betrayals keep happening, but why the environment allows for these actions to be repeated without meaningful change or remorse. Identifying this pattern is crucial because it's not just about the pain of each individual betrayal, but also about recognizing a destructive cycle that indicates deeper issues in the relationship. It's about acknowledging that trust, once broken repeatedly, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. Each betrayal adds to a narrative of unreliability and deception that can poison the relationship's emotional well-being. Addressing repeated betrayals involves confronting the reality of these actions. It's important to communicate the emotional impact of these betrayals openly and to demand accountability. This conversation can be challenging and painful, but is essential for determining the future of the relationship. Therapy or counseling may also be necessary to navigate the complex emotions and decisions involved. However, if the pattern continues despite attempts to address the issues, it might be time to consider stepping away from the relationship. Staying in a situation where betrayals are a recurring theme can be damaging to your mental and emotional health. As you reflect on this sign, remember the affirmation, "I am emotionally free." This doesn't just mean freedom from the relationship, but also freedom from the cycle of pain that repeated betrayals cause. Let this affirmation guide you towards making choices that prioritize your well-being and respect, ensuring you are in relationships that are trustworthy and enriching. Number 10. One-sided communication. So folks, let's delve into a subtle yet significant issue that can undermine the health of any relationship: one-sided communication. This occurs when one person consistently dominates conversations, making the exchange more about monologue than dialogue. In such dynamics, one partner may feel unheard and undervalued, as their thoughts and feelings are overshadowed or completely ignored. One-sided communication can manifest in many forms. It might be that every time you try to share something about your day or express how you feel, the conversation quickly shifts back to the other person. Or it could be that during conflicts, one person's concerns are consistently prioritized, leaving the other's issues unaddressed. This imbalance not only stifles genuine interaction, but also prevents the growth of mutual understanding and respect, which are crucial for any healthy relationship. Recognizing this pattern is important because communication is a two-way street. It's about give and take, where both parties feel equally seen and heard. If you find yourself repeatedly on the sidelines of conversations, feeling like an audience rather than a participant, it's a sign that the communication dynamic needs to be addressed. To address one-sided communication, it's vital to bring this observation into the open. Discussing how this imbalance makes you feel can sometimes prompt the other person to reflect on their communication style and make more space for your voice. However, it's essential that this effort to balance communication is mutual and sustained over time. If attempts to create more balanced communication don't lead to improvement, and you continue to feel like a bystander in your interactions, it might be an indication that the relationship lacks the respect and reciprocity fundamental to its success. Reflecting on this sign, remember our affirmation, "I am emotionally free." Embrace this as you evaluate the dynamics of your conversations. Ensure that you are part of relationships where communication is not just frequent, but fair and reciprocal. A healthy relationship is one where every voice, including yours, is not only heard, but valued. Number 11, you're making excuses for their behavior. So folks, let's tackle a sign that's often overlooked, but is crucial in understanding the dynamics of any relationship: making excuses for someone's behavior. This happens when you find yourself frequently justifying or rationalizing your partner's or friend's actions to yourself or others, often to the point where you dismiss your feelings or concerns about the relationship. When you're making excuses, you might say things like, "They didn't mean it like that," or "They're just stressed," even when their actions hurt you or seem unfair. It's an attempt to smooth over issues that need addressing, which can lead to a cycle where negative behaviors are minimized and repeated without consequence. This pattern not only prevents genuine resolution, but can also erode your sense of self-worth and trust in your judgment. Recognizing this pattern is crucial because it often indicates a deeper issue in the relationship. It might suggest that you're uncomfortable confronting the person about their actions, or you might fear the potential conflict that such conversations could bring. Alternatively, it may reveal a deep-seated hope that the situation will somehow resolve itself without having to address the tough issues. Addressing this means acknowledging the reality of the behavior and its impact on you. It involves having honest conversations where you express your feelings and concerns without downplaying them. It's important to set boundaries and communicate clearly what is acceptable and what is not. If, despite your efforts, you find that you continue to make excuses for unacceptable behavior, it may be time to reconsider the health of the relationship. No one should feel they have to justify or rationalize being treated poorly. As you reflect on this final sign, remember our affirmation: I am emotionally free. Use it to empower yourself to stop making excuses and start making decisions that honor your well-being. True emotional freedom comes from being in relationships where you can be honest about your feelings and expectations, without the need to constantly defend or excuse the other person's behavior. So friends, those were the 11 signs that it might be time to reconsider your relationships. It's not easy to face these realities, but recognizing these signs is the first step towards creating a healthier, happier life for yourself. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Your support helps us keep producing helpful guides like this one. And if any of these signs hit home for you, drop our affirmation, I am emotionally free, in the comments below. It's a powerful reminder that you have the strength to make choices that prioritize your happiness and well-being. It's time to sign off, folks. But I'll leave you with a bit of personal advice. If you find yourself in a relationship that exhibits any of these signs, consider taking decisive action. You might feel tempted to hold on, hoping that things will change someday. And who knows? Maybe they will. But remember, the choice is ultimately yours. Your life, your rules. Make sure you're choosing paths that lead to your growth and fulfillment. Thank you for joining me today, and until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.